completely 100% natural.
Okay.
We are heading to our Tuesday morning breakfast business meeting. We set our alarms for 7:30 a.m. to get an early start, and then I'm not sure what happened, but it's like 9:30.
To be fair, it's earlier than it was yesterday morning.
We can do like every other one of these. We are feeling a little bit back to normal life. Actually, I'm not feeling it, but we're acting it. We're reflecting on our road trip. We were gone for a total of 23 days. It felt like way longer.
Mm-hmm. Felt like 2 months.
I think because we did so many crazy experiences, and there was weekends that even after the weekend, it felt like a week because we were so changed.
5,292 miles.
So that's how much we drove. That was a lot of driving. And we crossed 13 states. Not completely, but we were in Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Montana, Wyoming. Pretty cool way to see the country.
We spent $654 on gasoline.
Which I think is kind of interesting, especially considering that it would have cost our family about $3,000 to fly across the country because we buy 7 plane tickets. And that's not even including renting a vehicle on the other side. So part of the equation for us is when I think of $3,000, I think, man, for $654, that leaves us about $2,300 that we can spend. It's more worth it for us to have that extra money to be able to spend on other things instead of just getting there fast. We spent $145 on lodging. That was all the first night in Denver. That was 1 hotel room for our family.
That meant that we stayed with 7 families all the other nights.
I can't explain to you guys how special this is. I mean, it's amazing that hospitality is a special event now. I mean, I think this used to be how life was, before you could just hop on with Expedia and book a hotel. Mm-hmm. You actually had to depend on people and families. Yeah, it can be weird and it's hard, but it's so special to be able to receive from someone and get to know a family in a location. There's this weird thing that happens where when we stayed with people, we think, man, we got this awesome deal. We got a house and a lot of these families made us meals and our kids made new friends and we were taken care of. But when we left, we felt like the other families felt the same way. So it felt like a mutual thing. Mm-hmm. And really, in a lot of ways, became the highlight of our trip.
It actually felt more natural to stay with people than to stay in a hotel. But I hesitate to say that because I actually think it's more natural in our culture to stay in hotels, so it feels unnatural to stay with people.
Finally, while we were on the road, we filmed, edited, and published 16 vlog episodes, which was a huge accomplishment. It really felt like not a vacation. And actually, we don't really see it as a vacation. I know some people, anytime they leave their home, it's like a vacation. This is more like an adventure for us. It's not easy. It's very purposeful. We grow, we engage. We don't just sit by a pool and zone out. And vlogging really helps cement that. So we're going to share our highs real quick. 15-second high. I thrive off of adventure and exploring. And these road trips for me, they give me an opportunity when I'm leaving to really feed that hunger.
When I leave, I realize it frees my mind up from daily things that I normally have to do to be able to, I realized I had a lot of epiphanies about myself. And then it helps me engage with Ben and the kids and other people in a way where I'm not as bogged down by the normal day-to-day stuff.
It was like 28 seconds.
No, it wasn't.
The low, even though we're like trapped in a van and with our children the entire time, I feel like we're spending less mental space with the kids. When we're spending time thinking about logistics and adventure, I realize I don't have much bandwidth to really engage with them in the types of heart conversation that I want with them. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that at home.
For me, a low is having to pause normal life means there's a cost, and the things that I love to do in my normal life, I'm not doing. Is that short enough for you?
It's time for Tattoo Tuesday.
How are you? How are you?
The third tattoo that I got was this little guy down here. You can kind of see my leg is still peeling. That's from climbing Mount Rainier like 2 weeks ago from my sunburn. This cross right here with this dove that's kind of like descending down. I got this tattoo when I lived in Seattle, but we were driving down to California. This was in 1998. It was a spring break trip. I was driving to a Mexico mission trip. This was the actual artwork, and I drew it myself. I was a little concerned at the time. The cross was this like kind of fake cartoony wood. I remember thinking, it's kind of punk rock, but I'll bet that this will go out of style. And I was right. It's not in style anymore. This was the guy that did it. His name was Sid. That's him actually giving me the tattoo. The tattoo seemed like really, really big on my leg. My friend's mom mentioned to me, she goes, I like the other ones, but this one's too far. This was big. I think this is when I realized I was kind of committed to a certain point. This wasn't just the little like ankle tattoo thing anymore. The idea behind the tattoo was one of my favorite verses from the Bible at this time was John 15:13, where it says, greater love has no man than this, than he who gave his life for his friends. And two of the ways that I believe God gave his life for us was through the cross, through the death of Jesus, and through the Holy Spirit, which is symbolized by the dove. And that concept of friendship was actually really important to me. The artwork behind the dove was inspired by a band I used to listen to back then called Unashamed. And it sounded something like this. Yes! Actually, that's exactly how it sounded, because that's Unashamed. So I was actually drawing this dove. This is the art that I was drawing, and I was in a car ride, and there were some other people in this car, and I said, Dove. That would be an interesting name for a kid. And there was one other person who agreed with me in this car ride, and it was Cammie. But we were in high school and she didn't like me at all. It was August 1997. We remembered that conversation and it stuck with me, and we had our first baby. We found out as soon as she was born that it was a girl. We didn't know. And we looked at each other and we knew her name was Dove. That's all for Tattoo Tuesday. Now we're going to the hospital to see something pretty special.
Bryan and Annie had their baby yesterday, and right now we're on the way to go see them and to bring them dinner. They chose Chick-fil-A, and it's kind of funny because we had Chick-fil-A yesterday, but I'm still okay with that.
this baby is less than 24 hours old. Oh, wow. And it's a boy. You guys want to say the name?
Zane Phillip.
So what was the birth like?
I would say it was an adventure, for sure. I guess just looking back, I have no idea how, like, that human being was created inside of me and, like, born, and I think it's really changed my faith and just made me realize that God is, like, real, and that I feel like He's a miracle, and I feel like God's strength was the only way that I was able to do that. So I think I'm still just really hanging on to that moment.
The whole thing was crazy. It went by really fast. I was working, and then she called me. She's like, I think my water broke. And I was like, oh, you think? So then we're just like sitting around watching TV, and we were counting change for a while. And like, I think what was weird was that we did it in the shower. So I'm sitting here. Annie is standing right here, but she couldn't stand anymore. She was exhausted. So she sits down, and I squeeze her butt with my legs as hard as I can, and I squeeze her side, her hips with my arms as hard as I can, and the whole time I'm just squeezing like this with everything I had, because that's how I'm holding her up. And so then there's this one point where she's like, how many contractions do I have left? And Jessie, our midwife, is like, you have 2 or 3 left. And I'm sitting here like, yes, praise the Lord, because I'm like struggling. And after she said that, I start shaking because I can't hold it anymore. And Annie's like, stop shaking. And I'm like, I can't stop. I'm so sorry.
I don't even remember half of that. So I trust what Bryan and Cammie say.
And then I could feel just everything.
When Jessie told me his head is right there, I did not believe her. I thought there's no way. He is not coming out. Like I thought I was only gonna have to push like once and he would be out, but it was a lot longer than that, and it hurt really bad. And that was a moment where I wanted her to just like stick her hand up there and just grab him out.
You weren't just screaming. You were like, just kind of go up.
Maybe I sounded like a animal in the wilderness.
One of the cool things that I saw was just how much Bryan and Annie were trying to work as a team together. Like, Bryan was really trying to support her, literally and figuratively. To me, it was a really beautiful thing to watch.
Yesterday, we're sitting here, everyone's gone, and I thought, I feel like we're just babysitting some random kid here. And then today, they take away our son, and I started bawling my eyes out because I love this kid, and I didn't want him away from me.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
It is so crazy seeing Bryan and Annie with a baby. More than a year ago, they asked us to disciple and mentor them, and we said we would, and they were engaged, and they got married, and we were a part of that. And then there was this big decision after they got married of like, oh, are we ready to have a baby yet? And then we found out that they were pregnant, and it was like this huge, like almost sigh of relief from us, being like, whatever we were gonna teach you guys, having a child is gonna teach you so much more. Like, that has been the biggest thing for us. So to see them starting off on this journey, I can't even wait. Today is the first Tuesday night that I've been back for quite a while. Oh no! I brought the guys back a case of beer from Washington.
Oh yeah.
12 pack.
Alright.
Thank you.
Awesome.
There you go.
Thank you. I like Washington.
Oregon.
So does count too.
If you looked at the shower, it looked like this horror scene where someone like ripped open someone's body. Oh.